Hey, this is David Flipper, the left-hand right winger again, and I don't know. I just happened to hear the, the trailer to the original Die Hard film, and I thought I kind of hinted at it when I talked about Back to the Future. I thought I'd talk about it now. It's a great film, and I saw it for the first time in my teens. It was later on. I happened to get the then VHS copy in my local library and checked it out, and I was really impressed. Bruce Willis is great in it, and I really am a fan of the series, even though I was kind of disappointed with the fifth one. I'll come on more about that in a moment, but it's really exciting, and I guess at the time too, it's kind of a different way to do action movies. I mean, at the time you have like either the James Bond or the kind of like superstar built, and I think what is appealing for me and appealing to a lot of other people is that John McClane character, played by Bruce Willis, is a much more down to earth. Even though not all of us might have been cops or police officers in real life, we can kind of relate to his anxiety to the situations he was put in. It's kind of like how most people would kind of react to it, like, "Are you kidding me? Not this again?" Not, the whole line about he's in the ventilations that he goes, "Come together, go to the coast. We'll have a few laughs." It's just like, oh, good, it's same. I mean, even not in that situation, but when things, we're doing something and things kind of go wrong, that's kind of how we react to it. So it's all very natural, so you can kind of connect with it. So and it's funny too. Like some of the best lines, comical lines I heard from that film, like the whole bit about it's in the trailer. When they're he's trying to call the on the radio to try to let people know that there's an emergency, and he's going to the police. He says, "Hey, this is Channel 9. The terrorists have seized Nakatomi Plaza," and the lady comes on, "Sorry, sir, this calls for emergency calls only," and she says, "No effing expletive, lady. What do I sound like? I'm ordering a pizza?" Because he's absolutely right. He led an emergency. He's not using it for BS reasons. And then he said, he was saying, "Sir, I'm going to have to report this." And he says, "Come down here and arrest me." It's right, because that's exactly what he wanted. Come down here and arrest me. It's just so funny that everything's so official. And of course, then there's other things where and this is another thing. It's kind of cool. You got to wonder, is Reginald Vell Johnson, the guy who plays the police officer in that in the LAPD in the movie, is he and Carl Winslow from Family Matters and also the police officer in Ghost, are they all the same guy? It's kind of cool they think that. And if they ever do make a Die Hard 6, I hope they bring him back. That was kind of fun. One more time to see him come back again. But it's interesting, the whole scene where, he's leaving and he has Bruce Willis, John McClane has a crazy idea of throwing the body out the window to kind of get his attention and firing the machine gun. Now, and it's even funnier later on when the guy, the chief of police, where the guy says, "How do you know it wasn't him?" Because it was, but he was doing it, because he was trying to let him know about the terrorists. So it's just a great moments like that, and of course he goes, "Welcome to the party, pal." He couldn't have said it better, and then of course there's some moments where they're funny and they're tough. They kind of get the moment, like the whole the classic. Everybody knows the yippee-ki-yay, mother. I'll save the expletive. Or like he's upset with what they did. So he takes a computer, he could use some of their detonator bombs, and throws it down the elevator and blows it up. And he goes, "Geronimo, MFer," and it just suits the moment. Yeah, another great line, but it suits the moment. It kind of pumps the energy of the scene. And I'm forgetting too, Hans Gruber is really good as a villain. I think I put him down as one of my top villains of all time, because it's just the lines he has and the way he plays his character. And he plays off of John McClane, or of course Bruce Willis. It's really, really interesting to watch. And I think it really set up the third one, which is probably my second favorite, Die Hard with a Vengeance. Before I get that, I'll mention Die Hard 2, which came first. I don't know, I can't always get into Die Hard 2. It just seems kind of, I kind of get frustrated with movies where there's like a guy who's supposed to be the good guy and he doesn't really listen. and he thinks the other character's the bad guy, and he has to learn that, oh wait, maybe he was right all along, and that whole thing sort of happens in that one. It's like, are you serious? Is that the angle you're gonna go with, or the kind of double cross sort of thing? I just I never get into those so much, but it does have its moments. There's some good fight scenes, some of the action. It's kind of follows through with what happened in the first one, but it's got a new story. It works in the airport environment, and it just it was done all right. It's all right. I mean, I still like it. I still count it part of the series. I'm still happy to see it. When I can see it, I prefer the first one and the third one, and actually I might even like the fourth one a little more, and I'll come to that too. But Die with a Vengeance, I think it did really what would have been better, and I think it's because they brought back John McTiernan, who directed the first one, for the third one. They kind of went to the roots, and it's really much more direct sequel to the first one than part two, in that now it's Simon Gruber as opposed to Hans Gruber, Simon Gruber's brother, who's got this big elaborate scheme to rob the gold in New York and all that, and he uses the fact that in a way to kind of dodge that he has a grudge with John McClane for killing his brother, Hans Gruber. And it makes a whole interesting parallel with that. Like, basically they do it really well in the trailer. They try to make the idea that that he's targeting him for it all. And then the whole setup of having them run around the city. Some people don't like that. I thought that was kind of wild because it kind of got exciting to kind of see them trying to find all the bombs and and kind of save New York City from it. You see a lot of sightseeing. It is before September 11th, so you do see the World Trade Center, I think, sometimes, but you see it, and it's interesting, that kind of a place in history. And Samuel L. Jackson is kind of a fun part to it. If they ever do make it, I think they should bring him back at something as a gag, because he really added to it. It worked. The Samuel L. Jackson character worked, and it was funny. And it was good. I really liked it. There was a lot of good humor in this one. They set up a lot of things that you have to laugh at, and some things that are bad. Like I the scene in the beginning where John McClane, he's telling him, "Hey, I'm going to blow something up if you don't go into Harlem with an I hate N-words." I'll try to be a little respectful there because it's not the nicest term in the world. Wearing a sign that says that. And, as wrong as it is, but the guy knew that it was going to cause a problem. And they say, though, there's some videos out there on YouTube, if you watch it, they talk about, like if John McClane, if this really happened in real life, would he die? And, look it up on YouTube. I forget what they call it. Maybe it's something about the death, would he die, the hit ratio. And somebody, that first bottle that he got, would have killed him. So it's just a sign of how bad now racism is in the country. Another issue, but it's just it's really that bad, and it's over a word. The word does have, as bad as it is still a bad word. But it's just interesting, what that played in the movie, and you kind of laugh at it because it's like a dumb move. It's a dumb move, but you know why he had to do it. It's because. What's the choice? He's going to let him blow something up? Like later on, they have a whole thing with the school. It's going to blow up the kid in school. Anywhere too, you find out, though, it's all scams so they can go and rob all this stuff. It's not really, it's all a ploy. It's all a ploy. And there's so many great elements to it. And they tie it all together at the end pretty well. I still find it a great film. Fourth one is kind of a letdown. Like, I feel like they got into the whole hype of the kind of special effects, over the top action. They did all right with it. I don't know if I like the Jason Long character or not in there. He works and he doesn't work. Bruce Willis still works. They make it interesting. The kind of tie-in with Kevin Smith was good in the fourth one. It works, but you live wanting more, which is a shame when you come to the fifth one, where it's like they totally forgot what the movie the original was about, and the whole character John McClane was about. And it just wasn't that funny. The action was too over the top. It didn't make sense. Like, is John McClane gonna destroy all this property for no reason and potentially kill people? It was just way out of control, and I wasn't impressed. And I do hope part 6 is a lot better if they make it. Hopefully they do. It was a major letdown. I almost like, I think if that's where they're ending it, it's a sad way to end the series because it's that far out of left field. And for one of my favorite franchises, it's probably the only franchise that I really love that has a sequel this bad. Like some of the other ones we'll talk about. Oh, well, Terminator comes close because we'll talk about that later. But of course, I love the first one. I like more than the second one. Third one was pretty good. Fourth one, I don't know, it was a missed opportunity. And the fifth one, it had some promising angles, but they blew it. But I'll talk more about those another time. Because Terminator is probably my third favorite movie series, right after the Die Hard. And of course, falling Back to the Future, as I mentioned in the other video. But like I said, it's still promising again because I like the John McClane character enough. If they can bring about a Die Hard 6 and make it work, I would be so happy. I guess it's coming around to the fact that I don't think I'm alone in this, that people get used to characters that they like and they want to see them on another story, another adventure. And I think that's what would work with these franchises if they do it right. The problem is, I think too many movie companies now, they're just saying, that opportunity, they'll come and see if the name is there, and that's it, and they don't really put any effort into the story or the plot or anything to make it worthwhile watching. There isn't enough to sell it on. So, but anyway, that's my thoughts on the Die Hard series. Probably, if there was no Back to the Future, probably the best movie series ever. It's really that good, really that engaging, really that connecting to the characters. Especially the first and the third one. So if I were to rank them, so we might as well do it all five. I'd say 1 is the best, then 3, then 4, then 2, and then way down, number 5. But yeah, I still count them all in the pack. I begrudgingly watch the 5th one because it's in the series. It's got the John McClane one, which is kind of what they did, but it is what it is. Anyway, that's, again, my thoughts on Die Hard series. Talk to you later. Bye.